Young men really need to hear this more, I think, is that you should be a monster. You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You know, you don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
Do you know the expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war?
Right, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And so when I tell young men that, they think, well, lots of them are competitive. They're low in agreeableness, you know, because that's part of being competitive temperamentally. It's like, is there something wrong with being competitive? There's nothing wrong with it. There's something wrong with cheating. There's something wrong with being a tyrant. There's something wrong with winning unfairly. All of those things are bad. But you don't want people to win? What's the difference between trying to win and striving? You want to eradicate striving?
What's the uncomfortable feeling that people...
Watch me turn into a savage in 4 years.
For 48 hours. Now what does it turn into? It turns into how hard we compete. How personal do you take this? How personal do you take your matchup? How personal do you take it if they don't slide to you? How personal do you take it if somebody beats you with a ground ball? How personal do you take it if somebody knocks the ball out of your stick after you pick the ground ball up? Fellas, there's a lot to be said about character. What happens when you make a mistake? Do you sit back and you feel sorry for yourself? Or do you ball your fists up and get in a fist fight? Fellas, we made a mistake 10 days ago. And now it's about character. All that matters today is our response. Ball your fists up, take it personally, and get ready to get in a damn fist fight.
This is the craziest race I've ever had. So when the gun went off, it seemed like a perfectly normal race, but shortly after, someone blew an air horn in the stadium, and I thought it was a recall gun, so I basically stopped running.
Woodhull, I think, thought that he heard a recall gun. That's a shame.
It wasn't until I looked back and saw that everyone else was still running that I realized the race was still on. It took a lot of work trying to catch up, but by the second lap I got back to where I wanted to be, and all I had to do was finish the race.
Woodhull is trying to get that leading position, and he does. He gets the pole.
It was without a doubt one of the hardest races I've ever ran, but I did learn a lot of things. Probably the most important thing I learned is that in life we're going to have a lot of bad things happen, and we can really deal with them two ways. First, we can let them tear us down and become excuses for why we weren't able to be successful, or we can fight through them, give them our best shot, and just see what the outcome is.
Hunter Woodhull is going to win.
At the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen unless you try, so give it your best shot.
So how would you educate your 5 boys?
Actually, I created a little school. Yeah.
What kind of school? Could you describe to us?
Sure. It's small. It's only got 14 kids now, and it'll have 20 kids in September. It's called Ad Astra, which means to the stars. That's maybe a bit different from most other schools, is that there aren't any grades. There's no like not grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 type of thing. I'm making all the children go in the same grade at the same time, like an assembly line. You know, because some people love English or languages, some people love math, some people love music. So it makes more sense to cater the education to match their aptitudes and abilities. So I think that's one principle. Another is that it's important to teach problem solving, or teach to the problem, not to the tools.
I always thought of myself as superior than everybody. I never looked at anybody to be superior than me. They may have been in a superior position, but man for man, I didn't think nobody can match me.
They're jealous. They're envious. They're insecure. They're threatened by the idea that you're coming up. It's the way it is. You know what they're saying about you behind your back. You know that they don't like you. You know they're jealous and envious of who you are and the things that you got going on in your life. People are talking behind.
My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, He was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
It's our fight to fight. 1 in 6 doesn't define who you are. What defines who you are is what you do when you 1 in 6. What the man you will fight for. Just everything you got today. Not because of the scoreboard, but because when this game ends, you have a brother to call for life, knowing you gave everything you had. That's why you play as a Raven. That's why you fight as a Raven. That's why no matter what nobody on the outside says, fight your fight.
I was teaching a course on leadership in India, and I got back to the hotel. I realized I didn't have my wallet, and so I called the hotel and I said, "Can you please bring the car back? They have my wallet." And they said, "I'm sorry, sir, we don't have a car." That was a taxi. 2 in the morning, they called and said he answered his phone. His phone was off. He's coming back to your hotel with your wallet. So I get dressed and I run down and I ask the man, and I get my wallet, and everything is in my wallet. Everything. My passport, my money, my credit cards is all there. And I reach into my wallet and there's $70 US. I asked the man through a translator, "What do you make a month?" He says about 2,500 rupees. So I reach out and I say, "Let me give this $70 to you. This is my way of saying thank you." And the man says, "No, I didn't bring you your wallet because I wanted a reward. I brought you your wallet because it's your wallet." So I said to the man, "What can I do to be thankful to you? What can I do to say thank you?" He said, "The next time you're in India, come to